Okay, we're live, Miss.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to Canceled.
Yeah.
My name is Missy Forbes, and I am a certified life coach. I have over 10 years in a nonprofit leadership space, and I am looking forward to speaking with my colleague and dear friend, Ericka.
Yeah, same here. So I'm Erica Kirschner. Um, so Miss and I have been on the journey together of getting our certification in coaching, which has been a fun journey. But my background is healthcare. So I'm a nurse by training, been in that space for over 28 years. um, Worked at the bedside at a large academic medical center, was in leadership and quality, and then the last 8 to 9 years in healthcare tech, so technology space. And then of most recently, I'm diving into entrepreneurship. So starting our own like coaching business, consulting business. And so Miss and I have had some parallels. This is why we're hopping on here together to talk through some things about life and
Mhm.
about career change and when you're mid-life, mid-career, how that looks, how that feels, all of the things. So,
Yeah. So I'm excited for um, our conversation and the journey that it will take
yeah,
because we are known to get off topic.
we are known to get off topic, and but
But
that
we'll remain laser focused for this one.
that can be fun too, though. You know,
I know the world is our oyster.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
All right. So I can go ahead and kick it off.
Yeah.
When people hear career change, they often imagine a dramatic moment. What did it actually feel like internally? And this, I think this is a good one for you to kick off because you've
Yeah.
been out of the game a little bit longer than me.
Yeah.
So, what did it feel like internally when you knew it was time to leave? Because we'd kind of talked about it over the summer,
Yeah.
and then your timeline sped up a bit.
Yeah. So it had been a thought in my mind about wanting to do something new. And I'm the kind of person in my career over time that I love to have continual learning. I love evolving. I like doing new things. And so what I found, I've like reflected back on my career and even who I am as a person in life is that what I do is I tend to be all in. I'm like, learn something new, get good at my craft, become the expert, if you will, in that particular area. And then I want to challenge myself and keep growing and learning. And so I want to do something different. So then that pivot and that transition, then it's like starting over from ground zero, where you go from like expert back to novice.
Mm.
And that whole piece, it can be frightening at times, but for me, like it's something where I love it because it's a new opportunity and new growth area. And yeah, you got to learn
New
new things. It's
challenge.
uncomfortable. It's a challenge. So over time and just with, from going from bedside nursing and then I went into leadership and management. And then from there, like a whole new world of like quality hospital operations and then to healthcare tech. It's like all of those different pieces where like I had to start over
Mm-hmm.
and learn new things. Obviously, I could use what I'd learned in my past because you've got a lot of different skill sets and tools that you use in those different areas of your career, but it
Yeah, you
is
carry
like
that
starting
forward.
new. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it wasn't anything that was, it was something where I'm like, oh, I'm getting twitchy. I'm ready to like shake things up and like challenge myself again and like do something different. And I think, I'd been thinking about it and then not knowing how that would look. Do I stay at my current organization? Is there a different like team or a different role or something that I could do? And then I just got to a point where it's like, oh, I just felt like there were some things that were going on where I'd been doing a lot of self-reflection And we did in our class through Lumia, with our like coaching classes, like reflection on who we are as a person, what our core values are. All of those pieces I really turned in on, internally and reminded myself who I am at my core. And I had just realized, like, I just felt like, oh, I'm not aligned in my current position anymore. And so for me, it
Yeah.
was like, okay, it's time now. That
Yeah.
that was like a big moment for me. And like even after I stepped away, like in my mind, I was thinking, oh, if something comes up or if an opportunity presents itself down the road at that same organization, like, oh, I might consider going back. Like that's where I was because I've always been connected to like a big corporate sort of job. So that was my identity and where I felt comfortable. Yeah, doing different roles, but still having a huge umbrella of a larger organization. Where now, after I've been away from it for, I don't know, well, almost 3 months, um, I'm really wanting to dive into entrepreneurship and all of the effort and all the learning and
Yeah.
everything that I'm doing is comes back to myself. And then same with the mistakes. Like I'm going to have missteps. I'm going to be, not doing things like perfect as we all do, but it's then I reflect that comes back to me. You know what I mean? It's all
Yeah.
like back to me as an individual. So,
Yeah. I love that term too. I'm an entrepreneur now because I think it encompasses all of what we're doing.
yeah.
Um, and then you can dive into, yes, I'm starting a coaching business and things like that. Because I think I've struggled since I left my job just at the beginning of this month with like, what am I now? And because it doesn't, I feel like I'm still in the training for the coaching, to become accredited. And so I still feel like I'm in this limbo, but I'm really an entrepreneur. I like that term.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for me, what it felt like internally when I knew it was time to leave, I knew it was time to leave when I was fantasizing about giving my 2 week notice. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, this is like
fancy.
actually not what normal people do when they wake up in the morning. So, I had put an end date on it, and that seemed to really, and it was like a year from when I decided that's my term date.
Yeah.
And that did alleviate and relieve a little bit of pressure. But I think for me, I was just so burned out. And I had listened to Brene Brown's most recent book. Um, of course, I can't remember it right now, but
Oh, let them.
no, no, that's
No.
Mel Robbins.
See,
Brene Brown,
oh
it's
my
a
God. Sorry, there's
grounded,
so many of these ladies.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, which is
Okay.
awesome. But
Sorry,
in
Renee.
Brene Brown's most recent book,
Yeah.
she talks about above the line behavior and below the line behavior,
Okay.
and it's really about like self-awareness and who is, when you're below the line, you fear is driving, and when you respond or act above the line, fear is there, but you're the one in the driver's seat. And
Huh.
I took that to heart. And my when I know that I am below the line,
Wait, what
when
does
I
the line
the
signify?
line signifies where, if you are behaving above the line,
Okay.
you are the one in control of your emotions, your
Oh.
actions, your reactions.
Oh, okay.
And when you're below the line, you
Yeah.
react. And
Oh, so it's like responding versus reacting,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah.
Ish.
And
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
and explains it so much more better, so much more better, so much better in her book.
Hmm.
But for me, I that section had a lot of impact.
Okay.
And my tell when I am below the line is I say, that really fires me up. That gets me fired up, which I'm sure you've heard me say a million
Yeah, I
times.
have heard you
But
say
like
that.
saying that
Okay.
in the realm of a workspace,
Yeah.
like that just I have that I think was just kind of like pointing to my burnout. I could not get above the line, and
Yeah.
I could not have above the line responses and behaviors. And that was like, I have to
You mean when you
GTFO.
were at the
Yeah.
job,
Yeah. When I
right?
was at my
I
most
got
recent
you.
job.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 And then
I
did you
mean,
ever like get to a point where like was there a moment or a time when staying felt harder than leaving?
Yeah, every day. I this fall, and I think that part of it was because we were doing the training in Lumia, and I had a I blocked off a day to do some homework and peer coaching, and
Yeah.
I just had the most peaceful day. Like
Mm.
I take this hour in the morning to have my coffee, to journal, to just,
Yes, I know. You've had that nice little
yeah,
habit and
for
practice
about a
in place.
year.
It's
Yeah,
good.
for about a
I'm
year.
proud
It's
of you
my
for that,
favorite
by the way.
thing.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to get off the couch, to motivate myself to get off the couch to go to
Oh,
work. And that's when I knew something
yeah.
needed to change. But anyway, this one day last fall, um, I had blocked off time for school.
Okay.
And so I did my power hour. It was a beautiful day. I went on a walk. I did like all the things that I normally did before work, but
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to see what a day not scheduled, controlled by the 9 to 5 could
Yeah.
be. And then I coached and I had a wonderful day. And it was just, there was so much positivity infused in that. And then I'm sure I've told you the story, but at the end of the day, I had to run to the store to get milk or something. And I was sitting in the parking lot of the grocery store and I was like, what am I going to order for food for dinner? And then I was like, I could go grocery shopping and get food here
Oh,
and
yeah.
make it.
Yep.
And I realized that it had been probably a year and a half since I had last had the energy to make dinner for that evening.
Wow.
And that was like really like I have to leave this
Yeah. And you
job.
identified that and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so for me it was just like the burnout, and I could not see how it was ever going to change.
Hmm. Yep.
So
Well, and you're like somewhat new into the being away
mhm.
piece of it. And I know we have talked about
And
this a
it's
little
like
bit because even before you
uh,
like being
getting out of a
done,
relationship.
yeah, you knew like,
I mean, I still have lots of big feelings about it.
yeah, I know you do.
Um, and that's hard.
Yeah.
Or having some connectivity issues.
You're back.
Okay, sorry, you were like she's really into this story. That you were frozen.
Oh, shoot. Can you hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is it your
We're
internet or mine?
live from the Midwest, so it's freezing cold, everybody. That's why it's like the frozen tundra here. Everything's
Frozen
frozen.
tundra.
Yeah, it's January.
Um, so I don't know what you last heard from my
Um,
ramblings.
just that since you're new to being away from your position, like we've talked about how there is some, I don't know, grieving, I guess, if you will.
Yeah. Well, I when I found out who had been hired as my to replace that or
Mhm.
to fill that position,
Yeah.
I had some strong emotions about it. And I called my therapist. I'm like, I need to talk to you. And so I was able to get in like right away,
Nice.
freshly fresh conversation when I was still like in the fields. And we were some of the things that she was saying to me were things that she had counseled me on when I had gone through a big breakup. And so and that was really something for me to kind of consider. Like I was in a 6.5 year relationship and I was in deep with that organization and the cause.
It's a,
And
yeah,
so it's, you can't turn those feelings off.
yeah.
Um, but I also know just some things at the state and federal level that were impacting that field of work
Hmm.
were so much like I think like what was at the beginning of the year, the federal government was holding back some withholding money at the state level, and our organization wasn't going to get paid, but it
Yeah.
wasn't my problem. And I
Yeah.
was like, thank God I don't have to worry about that. Like I worry about it, but I don't have to worry about it. So, and it was just like one of those things like, thank God I don't have to work on that. I
Yep.
don't have to figure out how to get above the line, really.
Totally. Yeah.
So I was very thankful that I got out when I did. It was killing me.
Hmm.
And I think it'd been killing me for a long time. And I think that like I think that I wish there was a way, or I want to figure out a way to normalize having sabbaticals as a part of
Yeah,
a benefits package.
agree.
Because if I had been able to take a break without guilt,
Yes,
without worry,
yes.
and without judgment
Mm-hmm.
for 6 to 8 to 12 weeks,
Right.
I think this would have been okay.
For sure. Kind of like a hard reset, just to take
Yeah,
a second. Yeah.
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 So, because yeah, even vacations weren't helping
Mhm.
get me out of where I
No,
was
because
at.
you know what you have to go back to. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
sometimes that's the piece of it's hard to disconnect knowing that when you go back after being away, whether it's vacation or whatever, it can, you know what you're going to come back to a lot.
yep.
Yeah.
Very true. So,
Mm.
what surprised you the most about yourself during that transition? Or, once you were out?
Um, oh, that's a good question. Um,
I was just so thankful that you were able to go to your son's golf tournament.
oh,
That
me
was that was my favorite thing.
actually, that's it. So I don't know, just for anyone listening. So I had to take a pause and think, I'm like, when was the last time in my life that I've had a break from a career? I mean, I've been hustling, working like crazy since I've been 14 years old. So I couldn't even remember a time. And so I actually had the time and the space, and even so, I have like four children, and two in college, two high schoolers, and my son is a college golfer, and I've never had the opportunity to actually go and see his tournaments with him because I've had work and like it's I've never been able to travel. And so the timing of all of this when I finished at my position, he had his end of fall big tournament series in Florida. And so I was able just to go and be there with him. And oh my God, it was the best. And he appreciated it. He even made a comment like, oh my gosh, you know, it's better late than never. Like I'd never been able to his whole 4 years of his college career, been able to do that. So that was just a blessing in itself. And it was meaningful. It felt good. And it's the
I
kind of
was
thing
so
too where
happy about that.
I like reflected back and I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's times where it's like, oh, I just could, if I could go back and rewind some things, I don't think I would put in as many of, I don't know, the hustle or the hours and put my job above family sometimes. Cause I would do that. Like when you're in like a sales organization and it's like that heavy sort of pressure, that's the mindset and like the environment. And so there's pieces of my family in my life that I missed out on. So, and I'm aware of that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, this whole entrepreneurship journey is like feeling good.
Yeah.
I have some control over everything, you know?
Yeah. I hope the next generation normalizes it because I think it's healthy. It's more healthy than putting your nose to the grindstone and
Yeah.
looking at we're such a society that values productivity
Hmm.
over mental health.
Yeah.
It's so backwards.
Hmm. Yeah. Agree. Mm.
Yeah.
Let's do a little, um, let's do a closing reflection for our listeners,
Okay.
shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if someone is listening and quietly questioning their own situation, what would you want them to know?
I would want them to know that as soon as like there's that thought in your head, that means that's just paying attention to your body, paying attention to that, whatever that is, that quiet questioning, if you will. That's a signal all in itself. And so just pay attention to it and just know there's resources. There's people like Miss and I that you can chat with and connect with. Like there's ways to work through that and listen to it and unpack that, if you will, and that it's okay. Yeah, it can be scary. However, there's um, resources and that sometimes the scary can lead to good. I think that's like
Yeah.
my big takeaway is, you don't want to get in this fight or flight mode. And then sometimes it's just easier to stay in something, even though it's like might not be the best for your overall well-being.
Hmm.
Just know there's like other possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah. I think that it's, you're not alone. I'd say that for sure. If you're thinking of it, other people are too.
Mhm.
There are resources out there. I I live by the mantra of no dread in every other aspect of my life. No dread. But why do we have to? We shouldn't dread our work too.
True.
In addition, so and I was thinking about this question as it relates to all three of my children have ADHD, and it's an overdiagnosed
Yeah.
thing. I'll I'll acknowledge that. But I was talking to one of my kids' teachers, and or maybe the therapist or something, and we were talking about like all kids are hyper on the day before Christmas or winter break,
Yeah.
the on Fridays,
Yeah.
like the day before spring break, all those things. But it's when those hyperactive behaviors continue all the time, that's when they have ADHD.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think about that too. So, like when you're quietly questioning, well, if you've gotten in an argument with a coworker, or you are going on vacation, or are coming off of a vacation,
Mm-hmm.
those times of dread of work are different than
Yeah.
just this gut, like the Monday or the Sunday night blues.
Yep.
And dreading Monday, every single Monday is different. And I think those are, we just like tamp down our intuition, and our bodies tell us things.
They do. I 100% agree with that.
So I
Gotta
mean,
be paying attention.
yeah. And
Yeah.
I had Monday dread for a really really long
Yeah.
time.
Groundhog's Day, it's coming up
Yeah.
too, miss.
Yeah.
Groundhog's Day,
To
literally.
those who
It's
celebrate.
next week. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think like just, there's not any big decision that ever needs to be made, but as long as when you acknowledge it and think maybe do need a change or a pivot, you don't have to quit the next day. But
Yeah.
I think also once you think it and you kind of shine the flashlight on it, you can't unsee it.
It's it.
And
It's
that's another thing too.
Yeah, that's so true. You can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So good. Well, this was fun. Ooh,
yeah, I
yeah,
think we killed it.
I think so. Thanks for listening.
Thanks
We'll
for
talk
listening, everybody.
sometime again soon.